Hey there, Mr. Reddit here. Welcome back to another episode of r/entitled Parent Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. My Karen neighbor demands a cash gift for her son's graduation. After that, manager tells me I need to know which rules to follow. And after that, am I the jerk for not inviting a child-free friend to my baby shower? Now for every thumbs up this video gets, one Karen does not get any money for her son's graduation. Fortunately, we don't have a son. His head would probably be as big as yours. So please smash that like button. And if you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. My Karen neighbor demands a cash gift for her son's graduation. Long story short, the day before yesterday, my neighbor was calling me asking me to bake 12 dozen cookies for their son's graduation celebration, which at the time of the call was in about 20 hours. She said the cake they ordered had somehow become lost in the order system and wouldn't be ready in time, that their son loves my chocolate chip cookies and it would mean the world/save the party. I agreed to help out. I went to the store and quickly bought all of the ingredients, which for that amount of cookies came close to $300. I managed to get them all baked, arranged on trays, and set up at the party without issues until the end of the party. Mom walks up and thanks me for helping out, and then asks me if I forgot to include a check in the graduation card. I calmly told her that the last-minute baking marathon was my gift and said I was glad it all worked out. Mom said she appreciated my hard work, but that her son couldn't buy books for college with cookies and that I should at least hand him some cash before I left. I left without doing so, and now the mom has texted me asking me to apologize to her son. Am I the jerk? Update. Thank you for all the upvotes and awards. Wow. I ended up replying to Mom that the only apology that was needed was one from her for being so rude about me not giving money as my gift. She did say sorry via text, and it was just that. A single word, sorry. Hope they enjoyed the cookies because that was the last taste they'll be getting of those. And for those asking why the cost of ingredients was so high, I did buy all new ingredients, flour, sugar, butter, etc., because I wasn't comfortable using up eggs that had been sitting in my fridge for a week. Also, I make these cookies a little larger than normal size, so therefore more ingredients. Yes, I chose to do them bigger, but I figured it was for a special occasion, so what the heck? Lesson learned. Well, what would you do in this situation? Would you go ahead and give their son some money or not? Please let us know. Rule number 1, never bake cookies for Karen. Manager tells me I need to know which rules to follow. When I was in grad school, about 15 years ago, I was working nights and weekends in a convenience store. It also happened to be the first time the fuel prices shot up to $4 plus per gallon in America. Because of this, there were quite a few people who pumped gas and drove off, prompting our company to institute a pay-before-pumping policy. The company was a small regional chain of gas stations/convenience stores in a largely rural area. They were concerned about any loss, so much so that in the company newsletter, they announced firing someone for regular theft from the store. The theft in question was when an employee refilled her fountain drink while on duty. Another example was that we were required to do money drops anytime we had more than $200 in the cash register. Another employee was fired because she was robbed and hadn't done a money drop. There was approximately $205 in the register at the time. So when this new policy came out, I wasn't about to risk my job over someone filling up and driving off with a tank full of gas on my watch. My manager was really good about working around my needs for class, research, etc. while working on my degree. So I put up with this and wanted to keep my job. One night I'm working and someone pulls up to get gas. The machine beeps, letting me know someone is trying to fuel up before paying. I won't pre-authorize because policy. Customer comes in and demands I let him fill up before paying. I explain the policy and he lights into me with perhaps every word he knows. I'd like to say I was professional, but I returned his hospitality. The next day when I show up for work, my manager is waiting for me, clearly unhappy. He is a regular customer and we want to keep them happy. I explained to her that regular customer or not, I wasn't willing to risk my job over a drive-off when people are getting fired for losing such little sums of money. Manager states, I see what you're doing, but you have to learn which rules to follow. Now, she's been with the company for about 15 years. She could get some leeway. I'd been there less than a year. I had no leeway. So I asked her, please put in writing which rules I am expected to follow and which rules I am not. Or put in writing which customers are exceptions to policy and which ones are not. Until then, I'm following all of the company's policies. I'm not surprised that she wouldn't put that in writing. Fast forward about a week. I'm working solo on a Sunday afternoon when someone I've never seen before comes in and yells at me for not pre-authorizing his pump. I explained the company policy and that he would have to prepay just like everyone else. Customer claimed he was with corporate and that he should be allowed an exception. I informed him that if he really was from corporate, he'd know about this policy and would expect me to follow it. I even pointed to the policy statement in the window for him to read. The customer yelled at me and stormed off before I could reply. Turns out, this stranger was from corporate and even the VP of the company. He called to complain to my manager about my refusal to let him pump first. She repeated my arguments as to why I refused to risk my job and that he should be glad to know they have such loyal employees. VP said that policy was meant for regular customers and not for employees. She replied, please put into writing which rules we are expected to follow and which ones we are not. Do you ever bend the rules at your job a little bit or not? Please let us know. I'd love to bend the rules if I had a job. Sadly, I don't, and I just have to sit here listen to you all day. Am I the jerk for not inviting a child-free friend to my baby shower? This is really dividing up my friend group, so I need all the help I can get. Sorry about any typos. I, 24 female, am 6 months pregnant. My friend decided to throw a baby shower and she asked me to get her a guest list. I invited most of my friends except Anna, who's 25, who is child-free. Anna and I have known each other since college. She's always known she doesn't want kids, and I don't have any problem with that. Everyone's needs and wants are different, and I respect that. But Anna tends to bash having kids a lot. She doesn't talk about it always, but it tends to be something she likes to discuss. Not going to lie, I did not find it to be hurtful or wrong before I got pregnant, but even after all of my friends knew about my kid, Anna continued to bash having kids. She didn't outright say it, it was very subtle, like sending articles about how having kids contributes to pollution, etc., or saying things like, it's a bad world, why would anyone want to subject an innocent kid to this? During the first months, I thought she was just concerned, or maybe it was hard to break the habit, but she continued on, despite me telling her it's a bit hurtful. She always apologized though and seemed genuine. Last week we were out having lunch and she said something along the lines of, people get so boring after being pregnant, no offense though, because I was talking about something baby related. I barely do that because I know how some people can just go on and on about things like this. But I was talking about it that day because one of the friends there had asked us a question related to it because she and her husband were thinking about having kids themselves. I laughed it off, but it hurt me a lot. So when it came to the baby shower, I decided to not invite her. I was feeling a bit petty, I guess, which is one of the reasons why I may be the jerk. But I also don't want her saying hurtful things. I know I'm a very sensitive person, and this can be annoying, but I can't change what I get hurt about. The baby shower was beautiful, but afterwards, I got a call from Anna, and she was calm but angry, if that makes sense. She said she saw all of the Instagram photos, not from my account, called me selfish, accused me of trying to cut her off from the group for being child-free, and things like that. I just replied about her finding baby things boring, and she hung up. A lot of other friends texted me saying I shouldn't take everything so seriously and should not have made Anna upset, especially since we've been friends for years. So I have to know if I should work on my behavior and apologize, or if I was in the wrong. Am I the jerk? Update. My friends and I have decided that Anna is not trying to understand me at all. She's currently calling me a lot of names online like breeder. So yeah, like a lot of people have suggested, I'm going to end this friendship, and so are the others, because they agree she has crossed a line too. Thank you for your help. I appreciate it so much. Well, who do you think is the jerk? OP or her friend? Please let us know. Never be friends with someone who disrespects you or your life decisions. They're honestly not worth it, and they will never be. You want me to keep digging? You got it. Since lockdown started, I've been living with my sister and my parents at home. I'm pretty grateful that I get along with my parents and my sister, and things have been pretty smooth sailing given the circumstances over the past year or so. That being said, my dad is pretty my way or the highway with most things, always very controlling when it comes to keeping the house clean and the backyard manicured. He bought a lawnmower, trimmer, and blower this past spring and tidies around the house probably twice a week. I love him, but darn, does he need things to be clean, and he will not waste an opportunity to complain about things that are messy and ask us to do mundane tasks, refill the toilet paper when we have many extra rolls, etc. I'm pretty understanding, and my dad's just a little on the neurotic side, but he's just so uppity about it that it's hard not to get annoyed at. So a couple weeks back, my dad noticed the flower bed in the backyard isn't doing so hot. Or rather, it's doing too hot. The trees above give pretty much normal shade most of the garden, but lets the sun absolutely bake the flower bed. Not much you can do about it, just a small quirk of the backyard landscaping. My dad can't look at that without thinking, this needs to be solved. But instead of planting a sun-loving plant, he decides it's the soil's fault. Somehow, he makes the connection that the soil might have been salted by accident or something, and my dad asks me to dig out the dying flowers, clean out the soil, put in new soil, and replant the same dying flowers. I'm a bit confused because it's pretty obvious the sun is the problem. But once my dad decides he's solved a problem, it's solved. So after a bit of an argument, I cut my losses, except that I'm living here rent-free and go clear the soil, repot the flowers, and give them a nice watering. 1 week later, and the flowers are dead. My dad gets in his head that somehow I didn't get rid of the old salty soil, and after some more arguing over how the sun works, I'm off to Home Depot for more flowers and soil to plant new flowers in new soil. The next batch holds for maybe 2 weeks, until the inevitable heat death of the flower bed comes about, and my dad is left with a second batch of crisp flowers. Yet again, it's my fault for not getting rid of that darn salty soil. So he says, "Big Chip, do not stop digging until you get rid of every last inch of old soil." Here's the thing. Some of our flower beds are placed over canvas fabric, which separates it from the ground soil, a geotextile fabric to keep things level, which is what my dad thought I was digging down to. This flower bed was not one of them. There is no bottom. My dad leaves to go for a bike ride, and I start digging, and keep digging, still digging. Lunch, back to digging. My mom and sister decided to chill outside with me, my mom telling me that this was ridiculous, and my sister cheerleading me for it. My dad gets back home before dinner, and I'm about waist deep in an 8-foot long by 4-foot wide pit with a huge ring of soil around the edges, dirt all over the backyard. He barges over, smoke coming out of his nostrils, yelling at me about how I'm destroying his garden, asking what the heck I'm doing. I just said, "Well, I don't think I can get rid of all the old soil, but a couple more days of this, and I think we'll be pretty safe." My sister starts laughing, and my dad has absolutely no recollection of his words until my sister has to remind him of what he said. Looking forward to tomorrow, when my dad's gonna have to help me refill the pit and come with me to a local garden center to pick out some sunflowers. Am I the jerk for banning my stepdaughter's husband from my house for ruining my daughter's proposal? My son-in-law, Jerry, stepdaughter's husband, claims to be a jokester. He makes fun of every situation and always taunts and teases. He used to be funny, but now he's just parroting internet memes and cliche jokes about everyone around him uncomfortable. He and my younger daughter, 22, are always in disagreement. She thinks he's not funny, and he thinks she's unbearable. My daughter's fiance said he wanted to help us help him set up a surprise proposal after dinner, so everyone gathered at our house, and my daughter had no idea, as well as my stepdaughter and Jerry. We had my daughter put a blindfold on and walked into the living room where her fiance was getting ready to propose. Jerry saw this and said, "What? Are you people serious? Oh my god." Everyone was looking at him with question marks over their heads. My stepdaughter said nothing. He kept laughing, and I told him to knock it off as I helped my daughter walk into the room. Once my daughter was seated, Jerry started making comments as the event progressed. Her fiance pulled out the ring box. Jerry said, "No, man, go find another pond. Fish ain't good here." Fiance got on one knee in front of my daughter and opened the box. Jerry said, "Darn, that looks expensive. How much did you spend on that, you fool?" I was fuming, and my daughter was clearly so upset. Fiancé proposed, and my daughter removed her blindfold. Jerry kept talking over her when she said, "I do," saying, "Don't do this to yourself. You're too young to be dealing with this. Dude, run!" I shouted, "Shut up!" He stopped and said he was just joking. I said he was being a disrespectful jerk to ruin the event with his jokes, then talked about how mean and nasty his jokes were, and told him it was better if he shut up. Stepdaughter said it was no big deal when I offered that he leave. She swore he was just messing around and creating a playful atmosphere, but I took it seriously. But he essentially ruined my daughter's proposal. I told them I no longer want him to come over after this. He walked out, but my stepdaughter started crying to her dad, calling me callous, and claimed I was favoring my biological daughter, and this was an excuse to ban her from her dad's house. My husband said I overreacted and shouldn't have banned him from the house, knowing that's how he is, and I gained nothing by this except straining my relationship with my stepdaughter. But I called him unfair to see how my daughter was treated and still sided with the others. Was I the jerk? Did I handle this wrong? Well, who do you think is the jerk? OP or Jerry? Please let us know. Jerry the jerk. Wow, that's got a ring to it. Karen thinks that rules don't apply to her because I spend money here. This is a story about a regular Karen that comes into the store I work at. I'm a shift supervisor. She routinely is a pain and is very entitled. Her favorite thing to say to excuse her demands is, "I deserve this because I spend lots of money here." This particular incident is her most insane and entitled visit to our store yet. Our store is a small store in a small mall. Karen comes in and approaches me as I'm stocking some shelves. Karen, "Excuse me, I need tissues. I'm very sweaty. I'm a runner, you know." Me, "Hi, ma'am. Unfortunately, we don't have any to give to customers due to lockdown. However, there is a public restroom across the hall that is open where we can freshen up. Or you can purchase some purse tissue and wipe packs." Karen, "No, I am a regular customer here. I've already spent enough. I don't need to buy it." Me, "I'm sorry, ma'am, but I don't have any tissue to give you. You will either have to grab some from the washroom across the hall or buy some." Karen, "But I'm a runner. You really should have some available for customers like me." Karen then walked away, and I turned back to my shelf before I heard the sound of a lot of wipes being pulled from the dispenser. This occurred during the lockdown times, so we have some sanitary wipes for wiping carts at the entrance and exit of the store. I walked around the corner to see Karen pulling wipe after wipe from the dispenser and putting them into a bag. We have a store policy that is posted in the dispenser that the limit is 2 wipes per customer. Me, "Ma'am, please, you can't take all those. Those are for customers to clean their carts with. Please stop taking so many." Karen, "I've spent hundreds of dollars here. I deserve a few wipes." She then storms off further into the store. So I guess that got her to stop after all. I went back to the shelf and was left alone for around 30 minutes before I get a page to the cash. I go up to the front and I see Karen there looking upset and my cashier looking confused. Cashier, "Hey, sorry to bother you, but could you check the price of this? This customer says it should be on sale." I look at the product and recognize it as a product that was on sale last week as part of a promo. Me, "I'm 99% sure that this was on sale last week, but I'll go double check to make sure the tag is correct." I checked to see, and the product that she wanted was not on sale. However, a smaller version was. I came back and informed her as such. Karen, "No, I don't want that one. I want the big one. It was on sale last week, but I couldn't come by and get it. So can I just get the sale price now?" My cashier and I look at each other before I respond. Me, "I'm sorry, ma'am, but that's not how sales work. Do you have a rain check receipt?" "No, I wasn't able to come by. Just adjust the price. I spend so much here. I've paid all your wages, so just discount it for me." Me, "I'm sorry, but I can't do that. The sale ended last week. You will have to come back next time it's on sale." Karen, "Let me speak to your manager. I'm friends with the owner. They always give me the most recent sales price." I do as she asks and call the store manager up to the front. He comes up and hears what she has to say. To my glee, he says, "Manager, The sale ended last week. You will have to come back when it's on sale again.
Karen, do you realize how much I spend here? I should get this on sale with how much I spend here. This place is corrupt.
Manager, I'm sorry you feel that way. Unfortunately, we cannot give you a sales price now that it's no longer applicable. Otherwise, we'd do it for everyone. Is there anything else that we can do for you?
No, this is disgusting. I'm not spending that much.
Karen then stormed out without buying anything. What was the product she wanted? $3.99 toothpaste that was on sale for $1.99 last week. We had a smaller size of the exact toothpaste on sale for 99 cents that week, but no, she didn't want that one.
Oh great, now the next manager she yells at is going to have to smell that rancid breath.
Here to help, but not that kind of help. I work in emergency services as an EMT. Our station is in the same building that the county keeps its 911 dispatch center. On nights when things are slow for us downstairs, I'll often do a food/coffee run to the local Flying Goose convenience store for the folks upstairs who are pounding phones and working the radios. A caffeinated dispatcher is a happy dispatcher. The folks at the shop know me since they see me on an almost nightly basis, and since they know what I do and who the stuff is for, they grant me a little more leeway than standard customers. Nothing crazy, just stuff like making coffee or grabbing the cups and supplies from the cupboards if they're out and things are busy. Little things that save us both time because they can keep doing what they're doing and I can get back out the door. This night, me and my partner stop by to put gas in the ambulance, and I run inside to get everyone's food and find out they're out of coffee. No big deal. There's a large cluster of people waiting around the food counter, so instead of bothering the employees, I just get to work starting a few pots. I'm in a dark navy blue t-shirt with medic across the back and my squad number/logo on the front, and I'm wearing my portable radio. Definitely don't look anything like the store crew in their bright neon color store shirts when this happens. Entitled lady.
Excuse me, but why aren't you making my sandwich?
Me. Excuse me?
Don't look at me like that. I've been standing here for 20 minutes while you were on break, and now you're going to hide over here instead of making my food?
Me, laughing. You can't be serious right now. Karen, getting shrill.
You think this is funny? Well, we'll see who's laughing when I report you to your manager and get you fired.
Me, you go right ahead and call him and tell him I'm refusing to make you a sandwich. His phone number is 911. At this, she just starts sputtering in indignation as I turn my back to her and go to the touchscreen to order our food. Other customers, as well as the actual employees, are laughing now as she starts trying to find someone to agree with her that I'm still wrong because I was making coffee, so
how was I to know?
She grabbed the next order that was called, not even hers, and stormed out in embarrassment. When I got back outside and told my partner, he laughed so hard the rig was shaking. Said some crazy lady had come out, scowled at him across the parking lot and yelled,
"I hope you never come to my house."
And now he understood why. Entitled man refuses to move from mobility parking spot. I'm a manager at the Way of Subs, and yesterday had a man park in the mobility parking space. I didn't see him park there at the time and come into our store. I'll call him Entitled Man. We were serving another customer at the time who had just started ordering. An entitled man interrupted the other customer to ask what the sub of the day was. Already, this got my hackles up because he was rude about it. I then look up and notice a car parked in said parking space, which is directly in front of our big glass doors. I looked at him and asked if that was his car. He said yes. Now, in New Zealand, people who qualify for mobility parking permits need to get a doctor to fill in the medical part of the form, and the doctor will often send the application form in for you, and you just need to pay for it. I'm not sure how other countries work, but that's us. Back to the conversation. Me. Do you have a mobility parking permit? Entitled man.
No, I broke my back and I can't walk that far.
Me. You need a permit to be allowed to park there. Entitled man.
I'm still waiting for it to come.
Me. It's illegal to park there unless you have a permit. You need to move your car.
I'll just get my food, then I'll move it. It's only going to take a couple of minutes.
Me. No, you need to move your car now. Entitled man then plants his feet, drops his shoulders almost like a 3-year-old who's not going to do what you asked. It sucks, but we can't actually do much to make people move from those parks other than ask them to move. The tow truck would take too long, and they would already be gone by the time the tow truck gets here. I decided to say the only thing I could in this situation. They either move their car or speed out of there like a scorned lover. And yes, this happens regularly, but most people will just move their car. I did a lot of theater in high school, so I know how to project my voice without yelling.
Sir, we will not be serving you unless you move your car.
Well, he spun around like only someone who has an intact back could do and stomped out like a big man-child, threw himself into his car, and sped off like someone was chasing him. The other customers who were in the store all had a little to say. I was about to go and move my own car. You were so intimidating. Wow, you're not going to miss the $5 he was going to spend. Good job. People like that guy tick me off. My grandpa needs those parks, so thank you for standing up to him. It makes me feel better when everyone else supports me. Am I the jerk for refusing to let my sister stay with me after how she's treated my girlfriend? My girlfriend, 30, is currently 4.5 months pregnant, and we're living together. My ex-wife, 32, female, and I, 30, male, just barely finalized our divorce. It was a pretty messy ending. She had an affair and we separated. Around that time, I spent more time with a close friend of mine, now my girlfriend, I've known for years. Months later, realized we had feelings and pursued a relationship. When I filed for divorce, my ex spun the story and flipped it on me. No one in my family believed her except for my sister, who's 28. And that was due to them being best friends. Throughout the whole ordeal, my sister took my ex's side, wouldn't stop bothering me about working things out with my ex since she's given me a chance after what I did to her. She was even more vicious to my girlfriend for absolutely no reason, attacking her on social media, calling her a homewrecker. Myself and my family had to talk to her many times, and I even cut contact for a while. Then, when we found out that she was pregnant, my sister's first reaction was, "Congrats on your affair, baby." She texted that to me from a different number because I have her blocked, and I knew it was her. A week ago, my mom told me my sister wanted to speak to me. She apologized for everything, admitted that she was completely immature and coming from a place of anger towards me because she's been with my ex as a support. She's been her shoulder to cry on, so she felt protective of her. During this same discussion, my sister mentioned needing some place to stay, so not only was she hoping we could make amends, but also wanting to know if it was possible to stay at our house. Suddenly, her apology didn't seem so sincere to me, and I said no, especially with not how she's treated my girlfriend. My mom is urging me to do this because my sister needs some place to stay, and it could be a way for her and my girlfriend to get to know each other better. And I can't blame my sister for her reaction when she was just believing my ex's lies. My sister is begging me to help her out and promises she'll be courteous to my girlfriend. My girlfriend thinks if I trust my sister, then she'll go along with what I think is best. But honestly, I don't, and wouldn't want to put my girlfriend in that position. Since I've doubled down on my decision, everyone thinks I'm being too hard on her for believing someone else's lies and am now refusing to help her. I feel like suddenly I'm the only sane one here since everyone seems to be bothered by this, especially my sister who wouldn't let it go. Am I the jerk? Well, who do you think is the jerk? OP or their sister? Please let us know.
Never let dramatic, toxic family members live with you. You might not be able to get them out.
Entitled ex-friend is upset about me getting a job in our field. Dave, 35 male, and I, 25 female, met in an advanced math class at community college 3 years ago. I had finished my bachelor's and needed to take a couple extra classes to prep for my master's program in CS. Dave, as he came to share, had spent ages 18 to 28 playing video games in his childhood bedroom, and from 29 to 35, he had had an awakening and decided to start doing something with his life. He planned on getting his bachelor's in CS, but had somehow managed to spend 6+ years of taking part-time classes at the community college. The guy was 35, never had a job outside of one summer stocking at a grocery store a decade ago, never paid rent in his life either. When we met in that math class, despite his past, I was impressed with Dave for trying to turn his life around. The guy was smart, but over time I started seeing another side of him. Dave constantly complains about his parents, the same parents who pay his every expense, including a reloadable Starbucks card and an annual Disneyland membership, the latter of which he uses 2 to 3 times each week. Anytime I ever offered to help Dave get a good starting job in IT or CS, he'd laugh and say, "I couldn't possibly work, even part-time with my academic schedule," or $30 an hour? I'll be making 3 times that when I finish my degree. What makes him think that? His 3 months of job market experience from 2005? At the same time, he always went around saying he knew more than his professors did. He should just teach the class, etc. He'd tell everyone he's a computer scientist and a true academic. Well, this summer I got an internship turned job into a major tech and entertainment company. I am on track to finish my master's next year. The sad thing is, my friendship with Dave was over within 2 months of me getting this internship. He started calling me a sellout and saying things like working students didn't actually care about understanding computer science. They just lied and cheated to get through classes. Random crap like that. When I told him that wasn't true and that lots of students work, his response was to ignore me for a week and then write a 4-page letter saying I don't understand how hard he has it. The entitlement is mind-blowing. For a near middle-aged man who has never supported himself to tell someone who worked their way through most college in retail and as a maid, who now works full-time and mentors kids in STEM while finishing a second degree, that she doesn't appreciate how hard he has it. Mind blown. Hope he's still having a good time spending 40 hours a week studying and being a computer scientist at Starbucks. You won't believe what happens in this video, so come watch it next. We'll see you when you get there.
And huge shout out to Laura Leach, our newest official channel member. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. It truly means the world to us. Become a member today, and we'll give you a shout out in our next video.